We all know Capcom made this. But did you know they made this as well? Hey everyone, I'm your host, Rob J, and here are my top 7 reasons you'll love X-Men Mutant Apocalypse on the Super Nintendo. When you take a look at the character selection screen for the first time, you're going to notice 5 different X-Men to choose from. You have Cyclops, Beast, Gambit, Psylocke, and Wolverine, and they all have special moves which can be executed by doing Street Fighter button combinations. Now, taking a look at this roster, I love everybody, but I'm wondering why Beast? Out of all the characters they could have chose, why Beast? I mean, you have Colossus, Iceman, Rogue, Storm, Jubilee. No. We're not gonna choose Jubilee. I'm not hating on Jubilee, no, we're not gonna choose Jubilee. But like, why not Storm or Rogue? But I guess Capcom wanted to avoid characters that could fly, which makes sense. Now it comes down to Colossus or Iceman. Those two would have been cool. No pun intended there. But Beast, I guess, looking at his skill sets, and he's got, superhuman strength there, I guess he wasn't a bad choice. They could have chose someone different. But at the end of the day, I do like the roster, and all the characters are fun to play. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse is not your typical beat 'em up. You're not just going to pick one character in the beginning and beat the whole game with them. No. You're actually forced to play every character and their stage. Capcom did a sneaky thing by making you try every character kind of like a tutorial, but they based it around the narrative. I think that's incredibly smart by Capcom, because then you get to match your playstyle. I personally love choosing Wolverine because, he's Wolverine. He's awesome. He's got his adamantium claws, he can climb walls and slash through enemies. But I also enjoyed playing Psylocke with her cool psychic energy blade and just her quick ninja skills. Gambit was my third person who I liked as well because he's got his kinetic cards and he's pretty quick. And Beast and Cyclops are kind of at the bottom there, but you learn pretty quickly who you like. And I think, I'm going to repeat myself, but Capcom did a great thing by making you try every character, and they tailored the stages so well for them that they can showcase their abilities. After the first 5 missions, guess what? You can play with any particular character for the rest of the game. So if you love Wolverine and his awesome adamantium claws, play with Wolverine. If you think Psylocke was cool with her ninja skills and psychic blade, yeah, go ahead and play. If you like Beast or Cyclops, I won't judge. But be very careful, as every character has a set amount of lives. Now, you can gain extra lives, but if a character loses all of their lives, well, I'm not 100% sure if you can bring them back. So be very careful with your playstyle. There's beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage 2 where you can blast through the whole game because the enemies are not that challenging and the bosses, yeah, they can be frustrating, but you can easily beat them. Then there's X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. This game has a bit of a higher learning curve, but it's manageable. I find most of the time as I'm playing, I have to give my actions a little more thought. There's enemy scenarios where I can't be cheap, and there's obstacles where I have to have quick thinking and reflexes. And then there's bosses where I'm like, wow, they're cheap, but maybe I suck. But no, I have to learn their strategy a little bit more and not spam my attack. Keep in mind, yes, there are bosses, and yes, there are enemies where you can spam your attack, but you have to think about it. You have to be very careful because, as you're spamming your attack, that might be an opening for the enemy or boss. So I find there's a good learning curve to this game, as it's challenging, but it's not too challenging. Remember how I said I wasn't sure that you could revive a character once they're gone? Well, having this password system lets you do so. Now keep in mind that you obtain your first password after completing the first 5 missions, and then you'll obtain a new password after completing every new mission going forward. And having this password system is so handy. I have a busy schedule, working, playing with my dog, being a good husband, playing video games, playing more video games, collecting video games, and playing video games. Yeah. When I was growing up, I was a big fan of X-Men the cartoon show, and I loved it when they were in the danger room. They were up against new obstacles, new enemies, you got to see their mutant powers, it was pretty cool. In this danger room, you're up against Omega Red and Juggernaut. Not at the same time though. You're training to go up against the final foe. But these two enemies were pretty tough. I would say Omega Red was the toughest to defeat. Absolutely. His tentacles are just so cheap. Juggernaut wasn't too bad. His charge is pretty powerful, but then he's got his punch. His punch is his punch. But the reason why I'm saying this is a positive is it's a nostalgic positive for me. I love watching the cartoon show and I love seeing the danger room and seeing what the X-Men could do under scenarios and up against villains. I actually remember one time Gambit accidentally increased the danger of the danger room where Cyclops was up against Juggernaut, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, and a few other villains, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way Cyclops could take them all on. So after defeating Apocalypse, you probably think you're done the game, right? Wrong, there's an encore, and you're facing Magneto. My goodness, he is so tough. I died so many times up against Magneto. He has to be one of the toughest bosses I have ever faced. I died a lot. But the cool thing about going up against Magneto is the prelude towards it, or, the whole levels behind getting to Magneto. There, that makes sense. Every character has a different way of getting to Magneto, which is pretty cool. And there's always 2 bosses. Every character faces Exodus. You cannot avoid Exodus. He can be pretty cheap, but he's beatable. And then you have your other custom boss. So, Wolverine has this spinning boss platform thing, and quite frankly, Wolverine was my prime choice here to take on Magneto. I didn't really choose anybody else, and I tried everyone else's stage, and I kind of like Wolverine's the best. But anyways, I was up against Magneto, and I was like, really? He's this tough? But luckily, Capcom did this amazing thing where if you were to die at some point during the fight, and continue if your character has enough lives, Magneto's health bar for that particular character will stay the same. That's so nice. Because believe me, the first couple of times you face Magneto, you're going to die. Definitely. So keep practicing and let me know if you actually defeat him in the comments below, because I had the toughest time and still to this day, I've not defeated Magneto. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rob J. Thank you for entering the Nova, and I'll see you next time. Take care.